なアルトマイクみたいになりたい。でも電話してくれない。オークランドとブックレンドから世界チャンピオンバーチャルプローズ始まるよ。バーチャルプローズ。
To my motherfucking man, 50 grand, the alcoholic man, inject a tall can in his bloodstream if he can. Biggie Smalls, the stroker, MC provoker, chocolate tie smoker, huh? I like to max and Maximas and Acuras. Your girl butt cheeks, I'm smacking, huh? The raw rapper, spine snapper, with the little, cause all my lap shot, the ball, I ain't your fucking comforter. And if I ever fall in love, I bet I'm fucking her. Ask the if I didn't choke her. If she try to front, then I drop the choke.
Episode 94 of that World Champion Sound Virtual Pros podcast. My name is Al, aka Henny Omega, aka Henrita, aka the Bandman, aka Buja Nagata, aka Dr. Keith Drapinski, aka Two Phone Scorpio, aka Super Brazy, aka Pete Gas Break Dip Dip, aka No Speak Broke Boy, Kami Shinsuke Stack a Mill Up. And with me, one half of the Holy Scheming Army, one half of Blemolition, one half of the Heavenly Thotties, one half of the Bread Hunters, my main oos, Mike.
Hey, what's up, motherfuckers? It's Mike, a.k.a. Matt McGriddle, a.k.a. Gooey Spicoli, a.k.a. Sticky Creambow, a.k.a. Dr. Swagner Jr.
Today's topic, the NXT Live wish list. Listen to Mike and Al pitch their ideas to revitalize the New York office's art house division. Hit us at Twitter and Instagram at VRTL Pros. Hit us on SoundCloud. Hit that heart. You know I like it. Hit us on iTunes. Leave a 5-star review and subscribe if you haven't already. Peep us on Spotify. And if you want to participate, email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. The email grippage, it's not there, but we got some messages, Mike. You mind starting off with that first one?
They're a little spread out. Hold on. I should also add, there's also a Discord, which you could find by asking us for it.
That's right. Okay.
And a new addition to the Virtual Pros Empire, there's a Twitch now. I've streamed twice. That's under VRTL Pros. Please subscribe because I think once we hit 50 is when the money starts coming in. That's when we just start raking in the dough. Once you have 50 followers on whatever, and once I get that on Twitch, I'll stream the naughty parts of the Yakuza games, and you guys could watch it and get all worked up. I stream it.
Do you plan on getting on camera and or getting on the microphone at all, or what?
Well, I don't know how to get on camera. I think you would need the that PlayStation thing, and I don't have that. I'd get on mic, but I don't know. Today, not to get too far into it, but today I was nice enough to stream the Stardom DLC stuff because I figured people would want to see that from Fire Pro. And there's like real people in there that just aren't like people that follow the show. And they're like, can you show me the edit parts? And like they're just like asking me like all these nerd questions, and I had to do it, and I was like, I fucking hate this. And like it kind of like blew out of the air out of the room. So I don't know if it would be wise if I was on the mic, but I might try it. Like I said, I got to stream at least 7 things to start making the money. I don't know if I'm ever going to stream again, but just follow VRTL Pros on there. Okay, first email is from Reed. It's titled Listening to Wrestlers' Music in the Car. He says, I put Ken Shamrock's theme on repeat for a day, like once a month. Shit gets me so hyped to like go buy groceries or some mundane shit, Reed. So I guess that's another one in Al's corner. There was a decent peppering of responses for people who recreationally listen to like The Shield and stuff like that in their cars and stuff. So there's some people on Al's side. I still think it's real weird, but they're there.
Peppering. Everyone said they listen to fucking wrestling music in their car. Dude, it's a thing to do. It's awesome. If you're running, all day long. Next email is from Trent.
Yep.
Comments for episodes 92 and 93. Dear Virtual Pros, wanted to chime in with some personal suggestions for the favorite toy lines and worst gimmicks, respectively. First up, Taichi from New Japan. I don't get this goofy-ass gimmick of him pretending to sing into a fake mic. Also, he's a vampire? All the other wrestlers and even the English commentators seem to poke fun at his gimmick. Did he just piss someone off and get stuck with this? It's so bad, I'm starting to like it. Secondly, was wanting to get y'all opinion on the Kinnikuman series. Did either of y'all collect the muscle Kinkeshi figures as kids, or have either of you have any interest in the new high-end vinyl figures that are produced now? I'm a big fan of the Kinnikuman series and was curious if either of you are into anything wrestling related, like wrestling anime or bizarre wrestling video games outside the usual. Only been listening for a short time, but so far y'all put out some great episodes. Keep up the great work and all the AKAs. Trent. There's gonna be a Tai Chi match on the mixtape. I would guess he picked this gimmick, and I wouldn't say he was a vampire. More of like a Liberace singer, was my take on his gimmick, but I could be wrong. In terms of the Muscle series, I know that they dropped a GameCube game. I think Aki made it, actually. And that's really my only, like, interaction with that entire, like, anime, so I'm not too deep into it.
Yeah, the Tai Chi thing, probably get more into during the mixtape. I was, I'm not going to pretend I'm some fucking long-time fan of Tai Chi, but the first time I saw him was the last J Cup, and I was just like, oh man, this entrance is amazing. Yeah. And since then, since I see it all the time now, it's kind of dissipated. I don't really think it's that amazing anymore. And I honestly can't tell if it's like how much of it's supposed to be comedy and how much of it's supposed to be serious, which is not good. I think when you're doing like some kind of comedy like that, you should be able to tell if it's comedy or not. So the gimmick to me is just kind of confusing at this point. But as far as the muscles, yes, I had many muscles when I was a kid. I had like the garbage can ones, I had the multicolored ones. And I do get some like tinges of nostalgia every once in a while where I'm like, I would just like to own them all now. But, they don't go for cheap anymore. I do have some of the modern, like, artsy for like people, cause those molds are so like everybody does that. All the art people do those. So I have like a few of those kind of like artsy new kind of muscle mold figures. But yeah. I never actually played the video game. I always wanted to, and I just never did. As far as other wrestling video games, you'd have to go back to that very old episode of Virtual Pros where we talked about video games, because there's a very odd Japanese video game for PlayStation 1 I talk about, and I honestly can't remember the wrestling because I always called it Johnson Pro Wrestling, even though that's not the name of it. But it was like this weird PS1 game where you like booked your own promotion. And it was pretty fun back then. I'm sure it sucks now, but it was definitely a deep cut. Next email is from DC. I'm sure he has a stupid question for me, but let's see. It's titled Coconut Oil. What's up, DC here, aka Brad Pitbull Pittman, aka Tyler Black Mamba, aka Chris Paul George. Maybe he doesn't want to shine, but have y'all been disappointed with the way New Japan has carried Liger's retirement tour? I was hoping they were going to fly into enemies from his past, but they haven't done much with him this year. 2, does New Japan have too much high-level talent? Even the lower card folks in New Japan are fairly decent. Do you think we will get to the point where dudes might leave for better opportunity, if there is such a thing? 3, where's Kitamura? Mike, there we go. I know you're a music fan. I know you're a fan of Japanese wrestling. Have you ever went on the YouTube deep dive looking for concerts at Japanese wrestling venues? There is some good stuff out there whenever you are ready to make that move. Al, please upload more videos from the VHS tapes you got from those Japanese wrestling widows. I think New Japan, not New Japan, just Japanese wrestling in general kind of does getting older the right way, where they don't really make that huge of a deal of it. And I think that's kind of the right way to go. He's old. He's had a lot of matches. He hasn't really been in the limelight for a while. So, I think the way they're just like he's quietly doing his thing is cool. I do think, he'll have like a big match at Wrestle Kingdom. Hopefully, if he doesn't have like a big match at Wrestle Kingdom, then that would be kind of shitty. But I assume they'll do the same, like that kind of normal Japanese thing where he fights like 28 people in a night and, do all this stuff. So that'll be cool to see. I guess New Japan has, I don't know if they have too much high level talent. I always skip the tag team matches. So I only see like 4 matches per event of New Japan, and it's usually kind of the same guys. And I don't really watch the younger guys too much. So I don't know how how good they are. I think the thing that New Japan has over a lot of other Japanese promotions is they're very good at making people stand out and giving them like a character where you see them and you're like instantly hooked, because I think that's a problem with All Japan and Noah. When I watch that, I'm just like, there's some guy and there's like nothing.
Hey, it's Jake Lee.
Yeah, it's Jake Lee. It's not really hooking me. Kitamura, I think he got injured and then he was like supposed to come back, and then I think he got like injured, or they fired him or something. So I don't really know.
I actually know the real story, but I can't talk about it on it.
Oh man, it's fucking inside scoops.
Yep.
I've never seen any concerts at Japanese wrestling venues, but I should check that out.
I don't know what you're talking about in regards to uploading copyrighted material, DC, so can't help you there. I don't know, dude. I'm pretty sure Liger wrestled fucking Otani and Takaiwa in a 0-1 ring recently. I don't know if New Japan had a hand in that, but he appeared there. He also put up a pretty good match against Ishimori, to the point where I thought he might win, so I think they're setting him off the right way in terms of too much high-level talent. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think having, like, all sorts of good guys at your disposal is an issue. Okay, Kitamura, the rumor is that he got beat up by Yakuza, but you didn't hear it from me. Next email is...
Max. His name is Max. He just had his email here, so...
Oh, okay. What's up, Max? Vampiro?
Yeah, that email.
Vampiro versus mental health. Okay. What's up, Al and Mike? It's Max again. I was wondering if you saw this picture of Vampiro dressed as a Pachuco that he posted on Instagram. He goes on to exclaim that he'll be rocking this regularly, having graduated from looks such as the Crow original movie soundtrack goth and arbitrary rockabilly asshole. I thought it was pretty funny. Hope you guys are having a good episode. And he sends an attachment of Vampiro's Instagram, and sure enough, he is dressed like a little homie's figure. And it's pretty sweet, man. This episode's going really great now because I saw this photo.
Yeah, recently Vampiro posted a GoFundMe for, like the title's like something like, people are gonna give me shit for making light of this, but I don't really care. But there's something like help fight mental illness or something. And it's because he wants like some operation to get rid of his Alzheimer's. And like, that's not mental illness, man. That's just you're fucked. But, I don't know how genuine this is. And, I don't know. He said he's broke and he hasn't made any money in a year, like a week after he was on Triple Mania. So I don't know. I don't know if Vampiro's the guy to trust, but this picture is great though. Next email is from Denzel. It's titled CM Punk. Is CM Punk the Jay Electronica of pro wrestling? He seems like he's pretty revered in wrestling for being super tight at one point. In my mind, Jay Electronica had approximately 4 really dope verses over the course of a decade, and people jocked him until like 3 years ago. Admittedly, my familiarity with CM Punk is limited. Isn't he just some guy who blew up off talking shit about his employer at work in front of an audience, then left when he was unhappy? That's arguably as tight as those Jay Electronica verses. How does he actually rate as a wrestler? Which rapper or athlete is he most comparable to? Denzel, a.k.a. I Got Ya Ho Ho Looney, a.k.a. Shin Megami Tensai. I think that's supposed to be Shin Megumi Tensai, yeah. A.k.a. Kazuchifa Drokata. My weed popped like the crowd when the yams came back. I want to compare him to Jay Electronica. I always thought Jay Electronica's whole deal is being like really difficult to like, that was like his marketing was like, I'm going to be difficult. Like, it's going to be difficult to listen to my music. And, that was a horrible marketing plan, especially during the time when, people were just easily downloading music. And I honestly don't know how he stayed popular for like 4 years or 5 years without having like 2 like pretty decent songs, I guess. I think CM Punk made it to the top, and he was never difficult to watch his wrestling. So I think the Jay Electronica wrestling is somebody who has definitely never been in WWE, but people talk about him like he's one of the best wrestlers ever, and he's just like, he's in some like independent wrestling doesn't even have any videos or anything. So I can't think of anybody like that, but it would probably be one of those guys that like goes viral and then it's just like, that's it. Like, they go viral and they might have some matches off of it, and then it's just like nothing happens. But I don't know who CM Punk would be compared to rap wise, just because I don't think a lot of rappers willingly quit, so it would be I think it would be tough to pick a rapper.
That is a pretty tough one. I can't think of any podcasts that any rappers, what's it called, inspired, like the Pipe Bomb podcast that we used to see back in the day. Let me get back to you, Denzel. I'm not sure. Next email is from
Eric.
God, we got so many emails about this fucking Zona 23, bro. I swear to God.
Okay, I guess we don't have to read that then, yeah.
Nick, title Get These Hands. Sup, Al and Mike. Congrats on another dope shirt release and happy belated birthday to the homie Al. Thank you, Nick. Anyway, to get right to it, what would it take for you guys to actually throw down with somebody at a wrestling show? I started thinking about this after reading the headlines about some pretty flagrant racism at an NXT house show, which is apparently being met with shrugs from the security team. I got a bunch of longer stories that might end up being Discord exclusive, but I got two I could share here. I went to an MLW show in Miami where LA Park, whipped somebody into a guardrail and it went flying into my girlfriend, who probably didn't realize he was gesturing for her to move. She was in a lot of pain, and I had to calm her down to stop her from crying. But getting into a shoot fight with LA Park is obviously out of the question. I wasn't about to get put on that Summer Jam screen like the Defy referee. Recently, at an AEW Fighter Fest, this Kid Rock looking ass dude started acting up as soon as he saw cameras pointed at him. We had floor seats, and this guy was in front of us standing up the entire time, stuck in a surrender cobra pose to ensure he blocked up as much of the sight line as possible. At this point, I'm pretty heated, and then he whips out a giant novelty top hat like he's fucking Mystery, the pickup artist. He left it on the entire show. I'm a non-confrontational wimp, but if I ever see this dude again, he's catching a fade. I'm sure most of us are just numb to the behavior of other fans at this point, but can y'all think of anything that might make you at least think about administering some vigilante justice? Something worse than the usual body odor, disregard for personal space, cringe chanting, etc. Nick, a.k.a. Shooting Star Blast, a.k.a. Purple Guava Perry Saturn, a.k.a. Peach Mega McMichael. Yeah, it would have to be like some sort of like touching where like after a while, like if some guy's like knocking his replica belt on my back, if he's sitting behind me, like I'm probably going to say something. Other than that, I'm pretty like accepting of like wrestling fan behavior. I've been to too many shows where I just kind of understand that like wrestling fans are a little off. So it'd take a lot, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, if it's somebody like chanting some horrible shit, you can't really do anything outside of telling them to shut the fuck up, because it's just going to be, if you're the one first throwing down, then it's just going to be your problem. And that's unfortunately how life works. The only time I can think of is that, I think I talked about on the show, but a few AAW shows ago, it was the one that the Young Bucks came out on, because that one was fucking packed. But there was some like dudes sitting behind me, and one of them was like super drunk. And first he kind of like tumbled over. We're in like the third row. They're in like the fourth row. First he like tumbled over like in the seat next to me, like just because he was so drunk he couldn't stand up. And I like kind of looked at him, and then like his friends were like, sorry. And I was like, it's fine. And then like a match later, he kind of like spilled a little water on me, and that's when I like got in his face. And then like his friends were like, it's cool. He's just, he's just a little drunk, and they apologized and made up for it. But like, I'm not like a hard man or anything, but I just felt like you need to nip that in the bud as soon as possible, because I don't want to deal with a fucking drunk asshole right behind me the whole time.
Just be like me and sleep, man. Fucking mind your business if you get drunk at wrestling. Just fucking take
Yeah. Usually I'm all about people getting drunk, so it just sucked that he was like a fucking sloppy drunk. Last email is from Eric. It's titled Mailbag. Hey, that's what we're doing. Vert Bags. Tonight I'm watching 205 Live for this 10-man tag. I'm excited by the sum of the parts, but don't give one single fuck about any person in the match otherwise. My question is, which tag teams or factions have you cared about together that you gave no fucks about apart? I guess my example is the New Age Outlaws. Cool together, bullshit apart. Eric, a.k.a. Pretty Decent Tony Nese. I don't think that's your a.k.a., buddy.
That's Tony Nese's a.k.a. Eric. What the fuck,
man? When I was little, I would say every single tag team ever. I think every single tag team when they broke up, I would be fucking upset about it. And I don't really care enough about modern tag teams to feel that way. But I remember like when the Hart Foundation broke up, I was like, fuck them. When the Rockers broke up, every single team when they broke up, I was just like, fuck them. I don't care. Now, it's really tough because, like I said, there's very few tag teams that I even consider in my head as a tag team, like as dudes who are just like inseparable. And there's even very few of those that I would even care if they split up. So I don't really have an answer as far as modern things. But when I was a kid, it was every single tag team ever.
I could go the opposite way and say that, like, I really didn't care for X-Pac, Just Incredible, or Prince Albert, but combined as the X Factor, I fucking loved him, man. That was my shit. I guess Demolition would be, like, my answer because, like, did Axe ever go on to have, like, a singles run or no?
No, I think when it was Axe and Smash and then it was Axe and Crush. And I think
it was
they were
all three of them at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like Axe and Smash, then I think it was Axe and Crush, and then it was Axe, Smash, and Crush, and then I think Crush broke off, and I think the other two dudes were like gone at that point. I don't think they ever did singles stuff. Maybe they did, and it was so forgettable that I don't remember. But I think Crush was the only one that did singles stuff.
Well, fucking Smash turned into the Rebo Man, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Barry Darso, what's up if you're listening?
Yeah, and then he went to WCW. Names. So yeah.
There you go. Well, that was the mailbag. If you want to participate, email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. 2-man scramble time, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little something here. So first off, thanks again to everyone that picked up our most recent collaboration with the Young Lion Divider. You know, it's always an anxious time for me personally when sales day comes around. And thank you, by the way, to everyone that wished me happy birthday. But yeah, these releases, they always seem to work out. I don't know why I get all fucking crazy about it. So thank you again. Maybe just to make this segment a little spicy, there might be a hot re-release in fall and winter. We'll see. Any words, Mike?
Yeah, thanks everybody for purchasing. That's great. It was a very clean transaction. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but no one really bugged me like after hours to be like, yo, can you get me on there? Cause, I appreciate it, but at the same time, then I'm old school. I'm an old man. So like when you're trying to make some after hours deals with me, I'm writing stuff on pieces of paper and sticking it in my pocket. And, sometimes I forget and it's just a lot of paperwork. But anyways, I was just like, we sold the shirts. They're being printed right now as we speak. It was a very quick turnaround. And yeah, as Al said, we have a few good ideas in the chamber, and I just, I think usually when we sell a shirt, we have a little State of the Union. So, I think me and Al both are kind of in the same wave where we're like, a shirt thing, like it's cool, but there's a lot of saturation, I think, and I think, as far as like this top secret thing that Al talked about, I think we had like a couple other good ideas, and I think that like we should probably stick to stuff that like only we could do, because there's like 650 Bull Nakano shirts now, and like no one needs that many. So it's just kind of like I have an idea. It's in the works right now. That's going to probably be our next shirt. It's probably going to be kind of along the lines of the pervert shirt, where I think like the people who love it are going to really, really love it. But I think the people who love it are going to be a lot smaller than our usual audience. And it's definitely a shirt that only we could do. So, and I think Al had another great idea. That's probably just a shirt that we could do. So I think I'd rather stick to that now than being like, who is the new old Japanese guy that everybody likes this week? And what is the new event that everybody likes this week? So that's how I feel about it, at least.
Yeah, every time we, drop a shirt, it's always like saturation talk. Like, how many times can we like release a Virtual Pro shirt?
Yeah.
And sure enough, every time it works out. But if I'm not 100% like enthusiastic about it, I don't think it's fair to like pitch something. And even though I was really pumped about this idea with Ian, I mean, we're 13 in, like we're not a clothing company.
Yeah,
so
well,
I think like I'm closer to the finish line than I am like at the start, honestly.
Yeah, I feel the same way, but at the same time, I personally feel that way. But then I'm like, man, this guy is making like a new shirt a week. Like, how many is he even selling? And then I'm like, comparatively, we make like 3 shirts a year, so it's not really that big of a deal. But no, I do feel the same way personally. And yeah, that's why I'm saying I just want to get these weird ideas out of here before it all dries up. But
Virtual Pros bath towels. I'm really excited about that next summer for fucking sure. So, a little warm up for two-man scramble, but the summer's winding down, and we didn't get to talk about it. What was the best match at G1 for you?
Man,
gun to your head.
What was the big Ishii match that was towards the end that he had?
Versus Shingo?
It wasn't the Shingo one. There was one that was like
Moxley?
Wasn't Moxley. There was one Ishii match that was like a little less heralded than the other. Oh no, I think I watched the Shingo one. Maybe it was that one where I was like, maybe not everybody feels this way, but I think this is my match. I think it might have been the Shingo one.
I still think Ospreay Okada is my favorite. I thought the finals were really good, and now I understand the whole man, Jay White's a piece of shit, because man, that guy's a real piece of shit, and I was real worried that the main event would be Okada versus Jay White. I mean, my thinking was they have to, break the tie because Jay White won at Wrestle Kingdom, Okada won at MSG, and so it made sense, but, Okada's gonna whip his ass if he fights Jay White at Wrestle Kingdom again, so I wasn't too enthused about it, but overall, I thought it was a really fun watch, but I think that Okada-Ospreay holds up as the best match of the tournament by far.
I wouldn't speak too soon, though, because they're already teasing Ibushi Naito, so there's a chance either Ibushi really does main event both nights, which would be pretty sweet, or maybe he loses that briefcase to Jay White, and you get Jay White Okada again.
I will cancel New Japan World if that fucking happens, Mike. I swear. I will screenshot it. I'll fucking Twitch it. Everything. Harold, you're canceled. Don't do it. My last topic of the night. So J-Cup is this weekend, and on this week's Put Me On Something, they released the merchandise that they're dropping this weekend, and the shirts are pretty sick. The SF one is done up in a Niners colorway, which I'm going to try to get. I got a J-Cup logo event tee, which I'm going to get to just because I have a habit of buying event tees that I never wear. There's a $20 Lion Mark pen set that I know Mike is really pumped about.
I would
pick it up. But the big news to me is that the push-up bar, aka the sex push-up bar, can be had for $40 finally stateside. I don't got to pay $40 to get it shipped. So Bay Area residents, if you're going to SF State this weekend and you happen to be there before me, hit me up. I will pay you back immediately. Just let me know. I have a trip in October for Hawaii, trying to look right on the beach, so there might be some good unboxing videos soon about this push-up bar. Mike, put me on something.
I don't think I have anything to put you on.
God damn it, Mike! The segment's dead in the water 2 weeks in a row.
I took a very long break from wrestling. I was woke up on Monday or something, and I was like, man, there was no wrestling for a full week. I'm trying to think of if I watched anything at all.
You watched 90 Day Fiance, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, I watched a lot of 90 Day Fiance, which is 3 seasons worth. Yeah, it was pretty great. Yeah, I didn't watch anything else. I'm sorry.
That's okay. How's Stardom? You have a fucking topic about that, or what?
Oh yeah, the Stardom DLC. I didn't really play any matches. I just simmed a bunch of stuff. They definitely. I mean, it's $20 for 10 wrestlers. You're not getting your money's worth, but they have 5 different voices. They have their own taunts, their own music. I feel like they might have put more work into these than they did the New Japan wrestlers, just because they wanted to make up that $20. And yeah, you get a whole bunch of new moves, a bunch of shit. Hana has some real nice octopus holds.
Oh,
I'm all about. So yeah, if you want to spice up your Fire Pro, definitely pick that up. $20 is a bit steep, but you're getting not only the wrestlers, but if you are a an edit maker, then you're getting a whole bunch of new parts and hair and other things. I don't know if you get I don't know if you get breast sizes or anything. I didn't
come on, Mike.
Hey, who was that? Who was that?
Working blue here on Vrtl.
Yeah, working blue.
That was my last topic.
Okay. First off, I think last episode, Al asked me where my smart button was, and I said, I don't. It's somewhere else. I'll go get it after the segment. And I never got it, but guess what? I think they're saying boring. I have my headphones on, so I can't. Pretty sure that was the boring chant, though.
Okay.
But anyways, actual 2-man scramble. I found out about this a few days ago. Somebody in the Discord told me, and then I saw it all over the place. But All Japan is welcoming a new wrestler named Hellboy, aka Hellboy from Mike Mignola's comic book Hellboy. It's they're having a person dressed up as Hellboy wrestle an actual match in All Japan Pro Wrestling in September. I think it's like a 6-man match. I find this incredibly weird. I don't watch All Japan, but it seems like this is really insane that they're having like some kind of or a movie promotion, because he's basically promoting the Hellboy release in Japan that doesn't come out till September there. It came out like a couple months ago here and completely bombed. But I feel like that's probably a sign that All Japan might be hurting for some money. And if you are some kind of owner of some weird licenses, this might be like your chance. Like maybe there'll be a Donald Duck wrestler, or I don't know. Maybe Taco Bell, get the Taco Bell Chihuahua back. Have a Taco Bell Chihuahua wrestler. Maybe the King from Burger King will be a wrestler. Who knows? But if this makes it on YouTube, you can bet your ass this will be on the mixtape. I don't know if All Japan has that visibility, but I am definitely looking. This is the first All Japan match I've been looking forward to since the early 2000s, probably. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
Fuck, dude, if Jake Lee is rebranded as Dave Thomas from Wendy's, this might be his kickstart into superstardom. Give him something.
So I always lurk the classic Japanese wrestling Facebook group. I don't know if we have any listeners that are in that group, but I think the people that run that group either hate us or just whatever, because I think the one dude blocked us on Twitter, and that group is way too serious. Those people are way too serious, but they do have some good they have good information usually. And somebody was saying it's the wrestler Shrek, which is insane to me that All Japan just has a wrestler named Shrek to begin with, but I guess he's supposed to be under the Hellboy mask. My next topic, I'll talk about this. I did watch, as somebody mentioned in the email section, I watched 205 Live for the first time in God knows how long, maybe the 4th time overall, for that 10-man match, because it's kind of built up. And 205 Live is like a whole other world to me. When they even have matches on pay-per-view, I don't watch them. I just zone out or go do something. I don't really care about 205 Live. That doesn't mean I don't care about the wrestlers, but I'm never going to watch a show. But I want to see it because I didn't know that Shane Strickland is a regular on 205 Live, or a semi-regular. He just started wrestling for WWE, so I was like, I'll check him out. And it's so bizarre watching that show after not watching it for so long. I said it on Twitter, but it's like a real ESPN3 vibe. It's just it looks like WWE, but one thing I learned immediately, Aiden English is a commentator now, and he commentates for 205 Live. That's weird. And it's the crowd is so silent. And from what I remember, I'm pretty sure 205 Live is recorded after SmackDown, so those people could just leave. Right. So I don't know. I don't know if they're I paid money for this goddamn seat, and I'm going to be here till they turn the lights off. I don't know if that's their mentality or what, but no one gives a fuck about what's going on. And they introduced all 10 of these guys, and there was you could fucking literally drop a pin and hear it, because it was very, very quiet. Just the production of it just seems very, very sleepy, very dull. It's a real dull show. I also found out what I never knew was that Drake Maverick is a wrestler. I thought he was just a guy, a manager, and obviously 24/7, but that doesn't count. But I thought he's just kind of a character on television, but he's a wrestler on 205 Live. There's a lot of guys like that where you're oh, that's where he's been hiding. That's the first time I've ever heard Oni Lorcan speak in my life was this 205 Live. Also during the whole match, I thought he was Mike Kanellis, because they kind of look the same. And then
what? Oni Lorcan and Mike Kanellis look the same?
They're both bald. They're both bald white men. I mean, that's all. They're both bald white men in underwear.
Oh, no, Mike, you gotta get new glasses, bro.
I don't pay attention that hard. I don't know what to tell you. The match itself was long. It was the whole entire episode, and I fell asleep midway through it, and I woke up, and the last 2 guys in the ring were Garza and his cousin, and I don't know those guys. So I was like, that's real weird to build up this match between Oni Lorcan and Drew Gulak and have it end on these 2 other guys. But Yeah, I'm never gonna watch 205 Live again, and I think it's just gonna probably get canceled when NXT comes out. But I just wanted to give a little road report on my 205 Live. You don't ever watch that show, do you?
I don't even think I watched the first one, to be honest with you. And it's weird because, like, I think the Cruiserweight Classic is, like, one of the all-time best tournaments, in wrestling history. So you would think they would come out the gate pretty hot, but sure enough, they didn't. I actually never got an explanation as to why 205 Live was recorded after SmackDown. You would just think you would have people that are coming in early who are pumped about wrestling watch this show, but no, you want to get them, I guess, like, really tired.
Yeah, real sleepy.
205 Live.
Yeah, it's real weird. But I don't suggest it. I know they has their fans out there, those people that are always like, oh, they had such a good match. You're trying a little hard, man. Just, you don't need to watch it. You don't need to tell people about it. Just enjoy it if you enjoy it, but it's not that great. Okay, now the real meat of this. Actually, no, I'll do this one first. I didn't want to bring this up on Twitter because things can get just carried to places on Twitter that I don't want them to be carried to. Like, I always get cringy when, like, a normal person finds a tweet we make and they, like, comment, like, they just blindly comment on it with, like, some stupid dumb shit, like seriously answering an obvious joke question, and I get all cringy. So I don't want to ask this on Twitter and piss somebody off, but I mean, I don't expect Al to know this either, but, you know, maybe if there's some wrestlers out there that are listening or people that are in that industry can tell us. But I feel like there's an abundance of indie promotions that are hosting seminars, and I think it might be a scam. I don't know. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not an aspiring wrestler, but there seems to be a lot of these. And at first it was cool. It'd be like, do you want to learn wrestling from Ultimo Dragon? And it's like, hell yeah. Oh, do you want to pick Arn Anderson's brain? And it's like, yeah, that's great. And now it's like some guy who was on WWE that got beat up by Braun Strowman. And then that's like his claim to fame. And it's like, I don't want to pay $20 to, like, ask that guy questions. So I feel like the seminars thing might be like a scam to just basically make aspiring wrestlers pay like a meet and greet price. And I don't know, if you're an aspiring wrestler out there, just be careful who you're giving this seminar money to, because it seems I don't know, it doesn't seem like you need to learn from literally every single person who stepped in the ring. So you know, save it for Ultimo Dragon, I think.
Well, what does a seminar entail exactly? I'm very curious. Are you just like going to have so-and-so watch what you do, like practice-wise, and then have him critique you? I've always been curious about this as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I would never speak up on Twitter, because it's a world I don't know. I don't know what goes into wrestling training. I always assumed it was a deal like that where you could pick somebody's brain and they could critique your matches and they could, like, give you some pointers about traveling on the road and getting lonely at night and stuff like that. But I mean, how many times do you need to do that? Like 3 times, and then you're good. So I don't need, you know, oh, it's Bubba Reynolds. Bubba Reynolds from he was on 205 Live that one time. Like, they don't need that. My last thing has to do...
Well, when Jumpin' Jim finally has his $20 seminar about how to wash balls, you know, I'll be sure to tune on that one, you know.
Yeah.
Pretty valuable stuff, honestly.
Jumpin' Jim, do a seminar. Teach those young bloods some of your moves. My last one has to do with... Al's put me onto something from last week. I watched the HDK Hoshiki match from Stardom that he recommended last episode. It was pretty good, but I had a question about it. I noticed HDK was wearing all white gear, and I was wondering if you just happen to be in the business of buying used women's wrestlers' clothing, like, do you think all white gear would maybe get a little bump in price because it might, like, withhold, like, or hold in, like, certain stains more than other clothing?
Up next, the NXT Live Wishlist. Listen to Al and Mike pitch their ideas to revitalize the New York office's art house division. Please stay tuned. I couldn't tell you, man. I don't know. If anything, I mean, it looked like they were, like, vinyl, so are they really going to hold anything?
I don't know. I'm just saying, if I was that kind of person, I would probably go for the all-white gear. So ladies out there, aspiring lady wrestlers, taking those seminars, here's a little free seminar from Mike. Wear a lot of all-white gear, because I think that's going to sell the most.
Today's topic, the NXT Live Wish List. listen to Mike and Al pitch their ideas about white gear. Jesus fucking Christ. Please stay tuned. Had me fucking stretching my shirt collar, Mike, after that last two-man scramble topic. Today's topic, though, it's our NXT wish list. So, if you've been living under a rock these past couple of days, the WWE announced that they will be counter-programming AEW's live show with NXT Live. It'll be 2 hours. And so, Mike and I came up with some wish list bullet points that we hope to see with this new show. Before we start, I thought I'd get your take on NXT Toronto. What'd you think?
It was good, but it was definitely the worst NXT takeover they've had.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah, so it's really bad timing to announce this new show on coming off the heels of the worst NXT takeover ever, because usually it's the opposite, where people are so pumped on NXT after a takeover, and they just did not have the magic this time.
Yeah, I thought Io Shirai's stock is pretty much on the rise for sure. She looks like she could be a thing. Other than that, like, I didn't even watch the main event. It was just too hokey. The tag match was okay. I think Montez Ford is like a pretty cool character, but other than that, it was a pretty flat show. So I think my first wish list idea for the new NXT, I mean, for a 2-hour show, I would think that you would need to fill out the roster, I guess double, because they do a 1-hour show. And I think there's a pretty easy way to go about it. I think how I would do it is you would just go down the list of the current main roster, and if they were better on NXT, just fucking send them back down. And if they're better on the main roster, just leave them there. So like Alexa Bliss, Baron Corbin, you guys can stay. Like Nakamura, you probably can stay too, but like Chad Gable, Sasha Banks, Aleister Black, Asuka, you're for sure going back. And I think if they did that, like all the way through, I think I'd be way more pumped for live NXT than I would AEW.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know if the actual wrestlers would be pumped about it, so I don't know. I don't know if the actual product would be great, but I can definitely see that. But before I go into mine, my question would be, do you think the actual show that they're going to put out is going to be good, or are you like pessimistic like most people and think that it's just going to be like Raw but with NXT people?
I'm pretty pessimistic. I mean, like, it's just so reactionary. Like, okay, AEW's coming out. Let's just develop this entire new project out of fucking thin air. And anytime you do that, I think like it's not a good idea. I think good ideas are like things you can't stop thinking about. Whereas like this thing was just like a response to something that's going on. And I don't really think it's going to be that great, but here's my wish list.
Yeah. I usually try and stay as optimistic as possible about wrestling stuff, but this is the most pessimistic I've been about something in a very long time as far as wrestling goes, because I think it's definitely going to be like Raw light, and I also think it's going to be even more condescending, because I think Al's idea of sending all the people that are better in NXT back down, but I think it's going to be more condescending, and they're going to be like, here's Eric Young he's like the special guest star of NXT this week. And you're like, when the 205 Live started, and they're like, here's Alicia Fox, and you're just like, oh, cool. Great. That's going to make me watch that show. Alicia Fox is on it. And I think, I honestly think they're immediately going to go into cruise control, and it's just going to be like Raw light, and no one's going to watch it. But I don't know. Hopefully they surprise me. But my first request, my first wish is pretty easy. It's pretty realistic. And I know they're never ever going to do it because it's something I've wanted since basically I started watching NXT. And it just seems like it's the perfect kind of promotion to do it. And they just never do it. And that is, I want a goddamn television TV title. I love the TV title. This is like, I don't know what WWE's reasoning for not having one is, but to me, in my mentality is if you have a TV title, that means it's going to be defended on television, and you could have like a guy every week that's fucking defending a belt, and that gets you to watch. And it just seems like NXT is the perfect product for that. Now they have that North American title. Like, what does that mean? Who cares? But TV title, that means it's like a television defended title. And I think that would be a great way to actually kick off the show. And I'm pissed that I came up with something this realistic, but that is how I feel. I think it's a great gimmick.
Who would be your first champion if you had the pencil?
I would definitely go with like Matt Riddle. He would be a great TV champion, I think. I mean, I think he should be NXT champion.
I agree.
And yeah, I think, you know, as much as he like fucking spouts off shit and it's great, I think they're like, yo, we're going to keep you down here for a really long time because all the shit you say. So,
can't be fucking calling out Bill Goldberg to fight, dude.
Yeah, ridiculous. Like it's cute and it gets people talking, but it's actually, we're upset about this. So, so yeah, I feel like even before this NXT thing, I felt like Matt Riddle had a very long career in NXT. So he would be a great TV champion, I think.
My second one, also a pretty simple request. Please keep the takeover specials to 4 or 5 a year.
Yeah.
I think if they go monthly, like, that's going to be the death knell for NXT for fucking sure. It's going to be dead in the water because I think everything is going to be rushed. But if they keep them spaced out by a couple months like they're doing now, I think I'd be more inclined to tune in because then they can build. So maybe that could hold my attention. If anything, I think NXT could use like one more gimmick takeover. Like, they already have War Games, which is cool, but I'd be pumped for something else. And maybe, like, this is the time they bring back Halloween Havoc or something.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure they have that copyright laying around somewhere. Even better after watching the mixtape, like, if they had, like, a fucking NXT Junkyard theme takeover, I think that would do numbers on the board. So that'd be my idea. Just only do 4 or 5 takeovers, please.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I thought of when they announced this. Or I was like, I hope they don't extend the takeovers because I feel the same way. Because that's one of the things that makes Raw so bad. Because it's like 3 months of pay-per-views of people fighting the same matches, and they would do the same exact thing in NXT, and it would just not be good. So hopefully they do keep it that way. I don't see why they wouldn't. I still don't think they've ever done a 205 live pay-per-view. Oh no, they did that one, and it was like a disaster. So yeah, I think they would keep the takeovers. My second one is getting into less realistic territory, but I think this is kind of a good idea. And it might sound ridiculous, but I actually think it would work given the circumstances. And I think they should make NXT into a show like the shows that happened on USA before Raw. Like Tuesday Night Titans, Prime Time, all those USA shows where it was kind of like Gorilla and Bobby the Brain and on the set doing like talking head shit, and then they would have the TV in the middle of them, and they would like bring it to a match, and you know, then they would like interview people in the studio, and it just seems like that would be I think it would be a really great vehicle for NXT, and it makes sense because as of right now, they still have plans to only film in that one place they film in, and listen, I like that place. I think it's a great venue, like it looks great. But man, on like actual national TV, that shit looks super janky. So you might as well just go full bore and do it kind of like a studio show. And you have 2 hours. You can introduce the 400 people you have signed to NXT that aren't even on television. It just seems like a really good idea to do something like that and make it like different from other WWE programming. But I know that's not going to happen. But I think it's a good idea.
I laughed initially because I thought you were like, it should just be like old NXT where they had like Daniel Bryan doing like dancing contests and stuff.
Oh, no. And
I actually think that'd be pretty sweet if that was the first hour of the new NXT. My last one. So lastly, since this is essentially a war for the eyes of the wrestling fan, the internet wrestling fan, I think NXT should just fucking keep it a buck and be as petty as fucking possible. Like every like lead into a commercial should just be clips of like Stardust like looking like a bozo, or like Hugh Morris like bullying Kenny Omega during practice at FCW or something. Like have Mauro just talk wild ass shit about AEW like Joey Styles did during ECW. Like if this is a battle for like the internet wrestling fan, I just feel like you got to keep tradition and just like be as petulant as possible.
That's a good idea. It kind of runs into my last idea too, which is sort of along the same lines, a little less mean, I guess. But I do think WWE should or NXT, WWE should distance NXT way far away from their other stuff. And I know they're not, but it's just, like I think the worst part of WWE is they're so far behind the times. And that's why only old people watch their stuff, because it's like their internet game sucks. Like the way they talk sucks. Like Mauro tries to be cool, but it comes off as cringy.
Speaking of which, we got a live report from this week's NXT where, I guess he calls, what's that guy, Jonah Rock?
Yeah.
He calls him NXT's resident thick boy. So there you go. More so hip.
Yeah. It's so bad. It's so cringy. And I think that's, kind of the reason a lot more people are gravitating towards AEW, because they're a little better at the internet. They have that YouTube show. They have a couple of YouTube shows now, and they seem hip. And the comedy is kind of corny, honestly. But for the average wrestling fan, it's pretty high concept. So it seems funny to them. Maybe not me, but, it works. And they're just a little better at the internet. And when you like really think about it, like Wendy's is better at the internet than WWE. Like there's these crazy fast food corporations that have, they just have like day long fights with each other, and it's hilarious. And like, McDonald's is speaking to you in memes and stuff like that. And WWE is still doing, oh, look at this guy, I photoshopped him on the Titantron. He's a baby. Like, it's just stuff like that. And it's like, holy shit, man, this was funny in like 1986. And it's just like so far behind the times. And I think not like, sort of along the line Al said, not just being petty, but it should be wacky. They should just fucking try everything. They should hand it over to young people. They should speak in memes. They should just make, like, I want to turn on wrestling one day and be like, man, I'm too old to watch this. And there's no wrestling on earth that I feel that way about. There's music, there's movies. I was just watching Catfish before this, and that is a show made for teens that I still love. And right after, they showed a spin-off show called Ghosted, and I was like, this is too much for teens, and I turned it off. I want to have that feeling about NXT. It's supposed to be young people. Try wacky shit. Make somebody a vampire. Once it fucking absorbs 205 Live, which is probably coming, do my divorced dad Drew Gulak gimmick. Just repackage him as a divorced dad. Who cares? No one's going to be watching the show. Just do the craziest wild shit you can do, because that's kind of what made the other guys popular.
Dakota Kai, E-Girl, what's up? I want to see it.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck it. Why not? So, New York office, if you're listening, we got some ideas. Please consider these. Last segment of the night, the mixtape with Bryan Danielson, Tenryu, a ladder match, and I'm just going to put it out there, a Virtual Pros mixtape Hall of Famer. Please stay tuned.
All of your life between heaven and hell, a great big fictitious game. Where to live is to know your shame, all your shames and your pains. To be in search for plain old happiness. 'Cause you are a special wonder.
OVO Sound Radio.
And let nobody put you under. Go on and tell me that you never leave me. Tell me you need me. Hope you believe me. Special wonder. And you know that I ain't never cheated. And if I did, then I didn't mean it. Special wonder. Girl, I'm just playing. There ain't no reason to make you feel like you really mean it. Special wonder. So and go let all your friends know this one thing's so special.
And And we're back with Virtual Pros, episode 94. If you haven't already, tell a friend. Twitter, Instagram, VRTL Pros, SoundCloud, Discord, fucking tout, you name it, we got it. Virtual Pros, holler at us. We have a pretty varied selection on the mixtape tonight, so I hope you guys enjoy it. The first match of the night is Tenryu versus Taichi Ishikari, All Japan Pro Wrestling, 6/8/2003. I wonder if someone has done a breakdown for most appearances on the mixtape, but I think Tenryu might be leading the pack here, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Onita, he's serving as Tenryu's second, coming out with a very filthy All Japan Nippon TV track jacket. It's pretty novel. He has a towel around his neck, and I know where Tenryu is going to make him put that towel after the match. Taichi Ishikari, better known as NJPW's Taichi, he's fucking skinny in this match. He was definitely at some food prison in 2003. No Chanko Nabe for this guy. It also seemed like only 2 people threw streamers for Taichi, so it's nice to know that this dude has been a bum for like 16 years and counting. Early in the match, Taichi, to his credit, he's actually hitting this old hound pretty hard. And Tenryu's, he's having none of it. So in response, Tenryu throws a fucking table at this young punk's head, which was pretty sick. Overall, I thought this match was pretty fun. 7 minutes. Taichi firing up was pretty fun to watch. The best part of this clip, though, is that it includes the backstage interviews. And sure enough, Onita is cleaning up Tenryu's back. And I wish we got the extended version of this clip. So Jumpin' Jim can see how real toweling is done in Japan. So it's kind of a bummer. But overall, I thought this was worth a watch. What'd you think?
So yeah, Taichi looks like such a dork on this. Like, it's incredible how less of a dork he looks like now. And it's crazy to me, like I was saying earlier during the email segment, that I'm not sure how much of a comedy guy he's supposed to be now, but it seems like at this point, he should have been a lifetime comedy guy. Like, he could have been the greatest, like, salary man comedy wrestler ever, because he just has that look. He looks like a scrub. And so I guess good for him for making him look more like a real wrestler, but I think this Taichi had a future. And, I mean, I think now, like, not many people like him. I mean, he's making that money, probably more than a comedy wrestler, but, I don't know. He just had that look about him. So I'm upset that wasn't his career path. At one point, Tenryu just casually throws an entire table at his head, and it hits his head. And, that doesn't seem safe at all. That seems like there should be some safety police watching this and, chastising Tenryu for this, because it was real dangerous. And, it's just a thing that happened. The thing about this match that I was reminded of most, this isn't quite, white clothing territory, white gear territory, but that's a little seedy story, is that, when I was, a young man and I was tape trading and buying tapes on the internet and stuff like that, you checked eBay, cause you could find tapes on there. And there was like this section of eBay, cause this was back in the day when it was kind of like all bets are off on eBay. It's a little more strict now, but, there's like a section on eBay where it would just be like, they would be selling wrestling tapes, but it was like, see this beautiful young jobber, Jim Jimston, in his nice small satin blue underwear, fight big burly Brutus Johnson, and see him manhandle this tiny cute jobber. And it was, it was for gay people basically. And they would charge like $70 for a tape of just like old, I assume, WWF squash matches of like young cute twinks getting dominated. I don't think it was like custom stuff. I was always under the impression it was like actual like compilations of jobber squashes. I could be wrong. I don't know. Any pros out there, let me know. But I always assumed it was jobber squashes, and making bank off of it too to gay dudes who otherwise did not know how to tape trade, I guess. And this match reminded me of a match that could be on there, because it was a lot of big burly man just beating on this little twink, slapping him. The powerbomb pin combo he gives him at the end is the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. It looks like his dick is fully inside of his ass. It's just like, it is wild. So if this is your fetish, if you're into smaller men getting dominated by bigger men, you might want to check this match out because it's pretty good for that.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated subscribers from 1989, I want to say. Can you confirm how much apartment wrestling videotapes were? I'm very curious. I always feel like they were always $99.99.
Yeah, they were a lot. My first match of the night is Bryan Danielson versus Brian Kendrick, a.k.a. American Dragon versus Spanky from TWA. There's no date on this, but I would assume it's the year 2000. This was Shawn Michaels' old promotion. He is on commentary. Someone in the Discord recommended this, and I thought this was an interesting little piece, curiosity piece, so I put it on the mixtape. First thing, video grade, fair video grade on this, the quality. You can't get much worse than this, I don't think. You could get a poor, but no one's going to take your tape. This is fair is something where you got to see it, so you're going to take the quality, but it sucks. I don't blame them. This was probably broadcast on local television. It was probably like on a fucking 9th generation dub, but it's pretty shitty quality. There's a guy named Rudy Boy Gonzalez, who I guess is like the TV champion of this promotion, this TWA promotion. So first off, it starts with Shawn Michaels and some other guy. They're like the commentators and they're talking. And then Spanky and American Dragon come out and they're having like a little spat. And Rudy Boy Gonzalez comes out and he's like, you guys fight each other and whoever wins could get a shot at my title. But at one point he calls them Dingaling Jabronis. And I think that's really good because I haven't called anybody a Dingaling since I was 9 years old. But here it is. He's calling somebody a Dingaling. It's great. In the beginning of the match, Spanky does a dance, like a sexy dance, and he's doing it to Genie in the Bottle. But kind of along the lines of those jobber squash matches I was talking about, it looks like somebody's forcing him to do this dance. Like, you boy, you go out there and do that sexy dance. You do it. Because he doesn't look like he's having fun, and it looks awkward. But he's doing it, so it's cool to watch. Bryan Danielson comes out to Born in the USA, which is kind of weird. I think I don't know if that's a good coming out to a wrestling song. And they make note, the announcer makes note of saying he was trained in Tokyo, Japan. A, I don't know if that's true. B, that is a really odd thing to mention while you're announcing somebody. But I guess that was his gimmick, that he was a white man that trained in Tokyo, Japan. What a crazy gimmick.
He's the American Dragon, dude.
I get it, but it's dumb. Their ring canvas just says Texas Discount Furniture on it. The logo takes up at least 40% of this canvas. I don't know how much Texas Discount Furniture was paying for this, but holy shit, man, they don't even have their own logo on their canvas. It's just the biggest logo for a fucking furniture company that I'm sure only has one store. Real weird. So then after a while, this guy Venom comes out. And it's not the Omega Venom who became Joey Abs later on. I could recognize that through this fair video quality. I was like, that is not Joey Abs Venom. This is some other guy named Venom. And he sits down and he's talking. And he sucks at it too, by the way. He's real bad. And at one point he starts saying, like, Shawn Michaels on commentary too. And, at one point he's like, oh, this is like how, our battles back in the day years ago. And I was like, is this guy stolen valoring matches with Shawn Michaels? Because, I pretty much know Shawn Michaels' entire WWF career. And I'm just like, I think this guy's making shit up. And then I looked it up, and it's Paul Diamond from the Orient Express, who used to pretend to be a Japanese man in WWF. So they did have matches. I don't think you could just change your name to Venom so late in your career when your name is Paul Diamond. But, I guess it's TWA. What's it matter? And it's incredible how bad he is at talking for being like such an old hound at this point. But it was painful to listen to. Lastly, this is a perfectly fine match from the year 2000. I think, if you watch this in 2000, you'd just be like, whoa, that's crazy what they're doing. Now it's just kind of like whatever. But as a curiosity piece, it's pretty interesting to watch. And they're pretty decent in 2000, both of these wrestlers.
Not a lot of notes from me, but Shawn Michaels, he opens his clip with his t-shirt tucked into his jeans, which is a look I am so envious of, but I don't think I could ever pull it off. He then says, and I may have misheard, that the Buffet Brothers were going to defend their tag team titles, and if I can find any matches with the Buffet Brothers, They better get Hometown Buffet or fucking Golden Corral or something. They better stick to that gimmick. I'm very intrigued, but if I find any of these matches, I'm going to put them on the mixtape. But yeah, Mike mentioned it. Spanky comes out to Genie in a bottle, which is pretty sweet. Man, if Taichi's been a bum for 20 years, or close to 20 years, Daniel Bryan has been really good at wrestling for just as long. Like, everything looks really crisp. Shocking, I know. And, like, Kendrick, he takes a pretty decent beating throughout the match. Towards the end, I'm not sure why Mike didn't bring this up, but Daniel Bryan, he hits a huge dive into the outside over the guardrail.
Yeah, it's wild, yeah.
It's fucking RVD to Bam Bam Bigelow-esque. It looks fucking crazy. I didn't know who this guy was, who he hit. I thought I was a fan at first. I was confused. Maybe I was, like, on my phone. But that was pretty wild. Yeah, like I said, or like Mike said, good curiosity watch. Shawn Michaels, he makes me think that doing commentary is like 10,000 times harder than it is. My last...
Hold on,
match.
before you get into your last match.
Sure.
I wanted to do some fact checking. They for sure were named the Buffet Brothers. I can't find who they really were, but I'm looking at like an old match listing, and it's it's a tag match, and it says Buffet Brothers parentheses tag champs parentheses with Hooters girls and tons of food. So I guess they just came to the ring with food and Hooters girls. So that is more of a reason to hunt down these Buffet Brothers matches.
Their names are Danny and Duke DiGiorno, like the pizza. Holy shit.
This match I'm looking at is from October 30th, 1999, and they wrestled the Ultimate Bad Guys. That was their tag name, so I'm going to be looking for that.
Some new shirts coming out in fall, for fucking sure. The last match of the night, from me personally, is the NXT North American title ladder match from TakeOver New Orleans 4/7 2018. So I picked this match for two reasons. It's topical because this episode's main topic, and I was completely fucking sauced in New Orleans at this event live, so I don't really remember much. Shout out to my little brother. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Jolito de Tulog. It was a good sign. So I totally fucking forgot that Lars Sullivan was in NXT. Did you remember that? Because I don't.
No, I didn't,
right?
Actually.
I was shocked when I saw him. I was like, what the fuck? It had to, like, really stink for someone to wrestle that guy, because I can 1,000% confirm that this guy smells like lunch meat after he walked by me at the Sacramento house show. He's real stinky. Yeah, like I said, this match feels like it happened like a lifetime ago. But this match makes me really sad for EC3, because, like, in 2018, they weren't even hyped about him then in NXT. Then he gets sent to the main roster, and people, like, are doubling down on not caring about EC3. That shit is pretty fucking mean, honestly. Just some dork shit talk, Mike. Who do you think has the higher ceiling? Will Ospreay or Ricochet?
I mean, Will Ospreay's younger, I believe. Well, he's definitely younger. I think Will Ospreay, because he's not the great promo either, but I think he's a little better than Ricochet, and he's younger, and I'm sure he'll get that WWE paycheck someday.
I didn't think about the age, so I think the argument would be for Ospreay. I think Ricochet does the cooler moves, but recently Will Ospreay started calling himself the Sex Pig. That's pretty sweet. I like that name. So Ospreay for me as well. 8:27 into this match, and Adam Cole and EC3, they lay a ladder down between the announcer table and the apron, and then they throw Killian Dane into it. But the thing is, like, nothing is holding this ladder in place, so it looks like the fakest fucking thing in the world, and, like, Morrow is selling this shit like it's death, which is, like, really, really awkward. Velveteen Dream, top 10 flying elbow. I didn't think about it that hard, but don't at me about it. Ricochet, towards the end of the match, he hits a moonsault onto the outside while falling backwards off a ladder, which has to be like one of the biggest death gambles I've ever seen in wrestling. And so overall, like, I can see why Mike thinks this is the best ladder match of all time. I think it's really well paced. All the sections were like at least either good to great, and like all the sleepy time moves. That's the move I call when like everyone like just goes outside to chill. They're really big. And I also really like that nobody even touched the belt until the end. I recommend watching this sober. It's really good. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, so as Al said, this is something I hold high regard. Before I watched it again, I'll get into that. But I don't have many notes, so that's one thing, because I was just kind of watching it. But the other thing is I also try to search for an NXT match for the mixtape this week, but it didn't happen. I was looking for some Bo Dallas stuff because I was a big fan of Bo Dallas in NXT, and they kind of erased him from the WWE channel because they just don't celebrate the classics, I guess. But Bo Dallas being dragged out of the NXT arena because he was going to WWE is probably one of my favorite all-time NXT moments. So it's kind of sad that he doesn't have a lot on YouTube, but legally at least. But outside of that, it is, like, as kind of Al said, it is insane that this is only a little over a year ago, and half these guys are just bona fide bozos now. Lars Sullivan, you know, he might come back wrestling. He's like, has one of those like 9-month injuries, but he's also, you know, and a noted racist and sexist, so he's kind of a bozo. So I don't think I could ever like that guy because he seems like a piece of shit. Killian Dane, they just repackaged as Killian Dane, but with like denim on or something. Like, I don't think they really did anything. Where I was like, what is fucking going on? What I don't understand that. EC3, as Al said, is just kind of, dude, I don't know what that dude did to piss WWE off to just be like, okay, we're letting you go. You're going to toil on the indies for a few years. You're going to actually become like a pretty, like, he was probably one of the best, like, characters in TNA as far as like everything, like the total package. And one of the very few people to just take a fucking nosedive right after going back to WWE. Bobby Lashley's not as bad, but he's up there because I mean, you kind of knew because Bobby Lashley has like zero charisma. But I don't know.
You've seen that clip of him on Main Event pointing to his Titantron, super sad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's the most heartbreaking shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what the fuck he did, man, but I think EC3's great. I think he's a great talker. He obviously, if you're a body guy like Wilf, he has a fucking amazing body. He's a good wrestler, I think. I don't know why they hate him so much. I think they're honestly pissed that he became a bigger star in TNA and now they're punishing him, so whatever. I forgot, on top of forgetting that Lars Sullivan was even in NXT, I forgot that Morrow used to call him a hominid, and I still want to point out that I think that's kind of offensive, and it's weird that they just were getting away with that and no one bitched about it. Like, hominid doesn't mean anything that bad, it kind of just means a primate, but it just seems like a weird thing to call a human being. It's kind of like their trademark name. I mean, they graduated to the freak, which just sounds corny, but the hominid sounds kind of offensive. It also dawned on me, I think Morrow is somehow more annoying now than he was a year ago. And
1,000%.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because it's just like he's been on this like upward slope for the past few years, just getting like inch by inch more and more annoying. I think that's kind of the trajectory with all commentators for WWE, but with him, it's just like on a whole other level. So
he called Io Shirai the Joshi Judas, and I was like, that's it. He's dead.
It's just kind of crazy because it's like he's so bad now, you just kind of forgot that he used to not be as bad. Outside of before WWE, when he was doing like Strike Force, and it was cool, but or Bellator or whatever he fucking did. Yeah, so in closing, I don't know if this is the best match anymore. I think it's pretty good. I think it has it's definitely a lot of spots. That's what it is, pretty much spots. I think it has like a pretty good rhythm where they kind of all do the sleepy time moves in the beginning and it kind of graduates into more group moves. I think, you know, seeing it again, it's kind of like loses its magic outside of the first time I saw it. And I do think maybe the ending could have been a little more bombastic and crazy. But outside of that, I still would put this in, you know, one of the top ladder matches of all time, one of the top NXT matches. But if you were also like, this is just kind of like people doing spots, I would also understand that. But, you know, when I watched it, I was like, the first time I watched it, I was like, I love this match. I don't think people are going to love it as much as me. But then Dave Meltzer himself gave it 5 stars, so I felt justified. So, but yeah, I could understand maybe if you had something against this match. But it's great.
I saw the 30-minute runtime, and I was like, oof. But I thought it went by okay.
Yeah, for a 30-minute match with 6 people and ladders, it's pretty fucking great. The last match is the talk of the internet for the past couple weeks. And, last episode, I had a chance to put a Zona 23 match on the mixtape, and I had my finger hovering over the button and I didn't do it and I chose something else. And I am very glad I did, because the next day, this match dropped from Zona 23. It is Sadika versus Sadiq Maiden. I don't know if they're friends and they both have very similar names. I don't really know what the deal is. For those who aren't into the underest of underground wrestling, Zona 23 is some sort of Mexican promotion that mostly runs out of a junkyard. And it's, hardcore wrestling in a junkyard setting, very much Street Fighter 2-esque. These guys just like Mexican dudes all over the place, hanging out on trucks, sitting in chairs, laying on things, drinking beers they brought. It's kind of just a free-for-all as far as the seating goes. It creates for an amazing atmosphere. And it's something, I think last episode I said I hate fan cams. I will make an exception for Zona 23. Fan cams for this type of wrestling is perfect because it's like real guerrilla filmmaking, basically, where you're inside of the action. So if you guys, want a quick refresher, I guess, Sadika Maiden is the smaller girl in this. And Sadika, did I get that right? Yeah, Sadika, and she's the bigger girl who has these heaving bosoms. She has, they're pushed out so far, they look like they're they're not even part of her body anymore. It's really strange. And she's also wearing a mask. So that's how you know who is who. And I don't know anything. I don't know if they're having a blood feud. I don't know if they just showed up to the junkyard that day and they were like, you guys are going to fight each other. I don't know what the fuck's going on. No one needs to know. I know in the beginning they're trying to give somebody a lap dance and it turns sour and they start fighting. So if you seen any GIFs or anything, any clips from this match on the internet, you will see the clip, which is Sadika, yeah. Sadika. Sorry, I'm trying to read notes while talking, and it's very confusing. But you see Sadika pick up Sadiq Maiden and powerbomb her through the back window of a fucking car, and it looks gross. It's fucking one of the most violent things I have ever seen in a wrestling match in my whole entire fucking life. You're just like, holy fucking shit. If you go to the cover art of this episode, track it down. I posted on Twitter. It's posted other places. It's posted on our Instagram, VRTL Pros. I screenshotted it. The last, at the perfect moment where Sadika Maiden is folded into herself, where basically her eyeballs are inside of her chest because she's so fucking folded from this goddamn powerbomb through this goddamn window. And that happens within the first 2 minutes. And I'm just like, oh fuck, the rest of this match is gonna suck. How is that gonna top that? And then 15 more gruesome things happen throughout the whole match. It is fucking insane. Right after that, they do a Canadian Destroyer spot on the hood of the car, and it's the only time a Canadian Destroyer has ever looked like it hurt in the history of wrestling. And I'm just like, holy shit, man. And then it's just insane shit insane shit after insane shit. So both of these women are wearing very low cut skirts, I guess you would call them. I don't even think Sadika Maiden, I don't even think her thing would even be qualified as a skirt, but it almost looks like they're just wearing panties, honestly. Yeah. And a lot of the times when they bend down to do moves where you have to pick somebody up, you'll hear a lot of wolf whistles from the crowd. This is, I think, you should never catcall or wolf whistle a woman, but you're a real sketchy ghoul if you do it while they're covered in blood, hitting each other with fucking light tubes and just bleeding all over the place and fucking each other up on cars. Are you really that horny where you're just I can't fucking control my penis right now? These girls are bending over and they're covered in dirt and scum, but my dick is just so hard, I just have to whistle at them. It's real gross. But so that kind of jarred me. So those people are way more ghouls than I could ever be. So there's one spot in this that doesn't work, and I am so relieved. There has never been a time in my life where I was relieved to see a wrestling spot not work out. And it's a part where they're fighting around, and Sadika Maiden takes a goddamn fucking whole entire car door and hits Sadiq with it. Sadiq Maiden, Sadika. Sorry, they have similar names. She hits Sadika with it. and knocks her on the ground and lays the car door over Siddiqa. And I'm like, what's she going to do? And she tries to double knee drop the goddamn car window, but it doesn't break. And I was like, my heart skipped a beat. Like, I don't think car window glass is the same as like other shit. Like, I'm pretty sure if she went through that glass, she would have been fucked forever. Like, her legs would have been fucked. So I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, but I was so relieved that didn't work out, because I'm sure these women were getting paid $50 or less for this. This is possibly the most violent women's match in the history of wrestling. And at the end of it, there's an ad for a tortoise restaurant. So that's really that really gives you a warm feeling at the end of seeing this violence. Honestly, if you're into violent shit, I think fuck NXT, fuck AEW, IWTV, which I think carries Zona 23. Program this on Wednesdays against AEW and NXT. Program Zona 23. Do a weekly show from the Junkyard, and you will be a cult hit sensation, because this has made me a fan for life, because this match was out of control.
Yeah, I'm going last. This is a Mike pick, as you could tell, but this might be the first mixtape match in history, after 94 illustrious episodes, that I watched twice before an episode. Like, Lucha Extrema is batting 1,000 right now in the mixtape. So, this clip starts off with Siddiq Maiden doing what I guess is a lap dance for a guy that never shows up in the clip again, which makes me think that this guy paid for the pleasure of this, which is pretty lame, to be honest. I see that they're using the skinnier light tubes, which makes me think that the ghoul rating for this match is going to be through the roof. I mean, it is, but it's not because of the light tubes. But yeah, there was a lot of problematic whistling in this match. Am I right, Doggo Pro Universe? It was pretty fucked up. So let's talk about the spot. So 3 minutes in, Siddiqa powerbombs Siddiq Maiden through the back window of a car. And on first watch, I was on my couch, and I let out one of the biggest fucking howls I've ever let out in my life. You ever see like the clip of Shaq and like all those dudes reacting when Vince Carter is in the dunk contest? It was like that. It was fucking crazy. Like, this to me is like the Taz versus Bam Bam Bigelow, like, living dangerously through the ring moment of this generation. And this match could have ended right here, and I'd have been like, yeah, that was really satisfying. But then they didn't. They didn't end it. They went fucking more and more into this classic. Towards the end of the match, Siddiqa, she puts down a chair down on the dirt ground and puts light tubes on top of the chair. And I was like, how are they going to get out of this here? I was thinking maybe like a little back body drop, let's just slow this thing down, because like they're destroying themselves right now, honestly. But no, they're on the apron, and we get a fucking swinging neck breaker off the apron onto this pile of plunder. And it's like that spot at Wrestle Kingdom when Cody hit the crossroads to Kota Ibushi, like off the ramp. Like, it's 5 times worse. I think it's worse than the car window spot, personally. It was insane. This is at the level of Crazy Crusher Champion versus Hellstorm EWR Brutal Carnage 2014 in terms of recommendations. This is a mixtape Hall of Famer. In terms of just styles of wrestling, you have your fucking slow grinding, you have your World of Sport shit, you got your fucking Fire Pro Showman style. Where does Lucha Extrema rank for you now after watching this match, Mike?
I gotta watch some more. I started watching the event this was from. I think I gotta watch more of it. This is pretty high up. If more than one event could keep this energy, I think they got something really special going on here. It's when GCW started, they were pretty grimy, and this is like that. It kind of feels like that, but it's even more, because like I don't fucking care what Siddiqa Maiden does after this. Like, I don't want to see her booked at Joey Janela's Spring Break. I want this to like live in its own little world and just be like a thing. So, right now, pretty high up there. Like I said, I was hovering over a Zona 23 match. I don't know if that's the venue and it's really Lucha Extrema, but, I was hovering over a match last episode, so that might go on next episode, because, I don't know. I think we need more of this.
Dude, Virtual Pros, the official Zona 23 podcast from here on out. I think this is A1, the best style of wrestling right now going today. Like, I would think this style may have been birthed with Juventud Guerrera versus Rey Mysterio. I could be wrong, wrestling purists, but if you could put me onto more of this shit, I would appreciate it. That was episode 94 of That World Champion Sound. Hit us on Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Discord, Twitch now. Email us at virtualpro64@gmail.com. Mike, any last words?
Hey, thanks for the shirt purchase. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.
See you in 2 weeks.